They call it logistics, but I always called it keeping a billion-dollar beast from collapsing under its own weight. For over 2 decades, I was the invisible force running direct operations at Vance Freight Systems, managing 3,000 commercial trucks across North America. If you bought groceries, medicine, or auto parts anywhere in the country, my team was the reason those items arrived safely on time. My work area was never fancy, consisting of an old corner cubicle packed with billing manifests and legal pads. Yet, I preferred being close to the action where I could catch problems before anyone else noticed. I knew which port strikes were brewing months in advance and which trucking companies would pull through a blizzard just because they respected me. I never wanted to burn the company down, I just wanted to do my job. Everything changed when the original founder retired to his European estate and handed control over to his entitled 32-year-old son, Julian. Fresh out of business school with an overpriced suit and zero real experience, Julian acted like he owned the world. Within his first month, he hired his superficial girlfriend, Chloe, as an operations supervisor and began cutting essential personnel. I stayed quiet and kept working hard because I had survived economic crashes and system crashes before. The tension between us hit a breaking point during the busiest freight month of the year. Julian sent out a mandatory corporate email requiring all senior staff to attend his lavish weekend birthday celebration at his private mansion. The party fell on the exact night I needed to oversee custom clearances for a massive pharmaceutical shipment that would spoil if delayed. I politely declined his invitation in writing so I could monitor the cargo, assuming business priorities came first. Walking into the office the next morning, I instantly felt the cold atmosphere in the building. My computer login credentials had been revoked, and Julian approached my desk accompanied by Chloe and 2 hesitant security guards. With a smug expression, he informed me that my refusal to attend his party proved I was not a team player, effectively terminating my employment on the spot. Chloe snickered as Julian claimed anyone could easily be replaced by modern cloud software. I did not cause a scene, scream, or shed a single tear in front of them. Instead, I handed over my security badge and reminded Julian that I held personal operational authority for thousands of vendor agreements. He simply laughed off my warning and demanded security escort me out immediately. As the elevator doors closed, I looked at my watch and realized that without my active authorization, the entire supply chain network would stall within the hour. Sitting in my car under the gray rain, I took a deep breath and opened my personal email. Throughout my entire career, I had maintained a separate private contact line with every major freight carrier, port director, and union leader for emergency situations. Rather than committing corporate sabotage, I simply drafted a formal notification informing all key partners that I was no longer employed at the company. I directed all future compliance verifications and credit approvals directly to Julian. My email triggered Clause 7B, a special continuity provision buried inside our major master contracts. Years ago, vendors insisted on a safeguard stating that if my oversight ended, all credit lines and dispatch operations would automatically freeze pending new reviews. I sent the notice to hundreds of suppliers down the line, watching the dominoes fall into place. Within minutes, union leaders called my phone, declaring that their drivers would park their trucks until verified safety protocols were met. Instead of going home to wallow in self-pity, I set up a mobile office inside a local highway diner. Using public transport tracking tools on my laptop, I watched red dots flood the map as commercial trucks halted nationwide. Distribution centers and major hubs locked their gates because no one inside possessed the manual override codes I used to update weekly. Calls from frantic corporate attorneys and panicked executives began pouring into my phone, but I let them ring. By noon, Chloe called my personal number in complete hysterics, while Julian screamed threats in the background. Their server had locked them out, asking for 2-factor authentication codes sent directly to my mobile device. When they demanded the access codes, I calmly explained that providing internal security data as a non-employee would violate federal computer laws. Julian threatened to sue me for holding the company hostage, but I reminded him that he fired me for culture fit. While the corporate office fell into total chaos, I contacted the head of a competing logistics corporation named Arthur Sterling. Arthur had tried to hire me for years, but I always declined out of loyalty to the original founder. When I told him I was available and could bring my entire network of union relationships and port authorities, he immediately sent a private driver to pick me up. My loyalty to my former employer had officially ended the moment they cast me aside. During our lunch meeting at a high-end downtown restaurant, Arthur offered me a senior vice president position with full operational control. I agreed on the condition that my division operated independently without corporate interference. Midday news reports were already showing nationwide freight gridlock and dropping stock prices for my old company. Just as we finalized the agreement, my phone alerted me to a major accident involving an unauthorized replacement driver Julian had hired to bypass union stops. The illegal driver had jackknifed a tanker carrying hazardous materials, prompting a massive environmental investigation and a complete shutdown by federal transportation authorities. Realizing the company was facing total bankruptcy, I rushed to meet the retired founder Harrison as his private jet landed at the airfield. I picked him up at the terminal and laid out the cold reality of how his son had crippled the family legacy through arrogance and negligence within a single day. Harrison was furious, but he quickly realized he had no leverage left to save his business. I informed him that I was transferring the entire operational supply chain over to Arthur Sterling's firm, leaving his ruined company behind. Overwhelmed by the disaster, Harrison broke down and admitted he should have never trusted his son with the enterprise. He agreed to sell the remaining assets to us for $1 just to escape total financial destruction. Our acquisition agreement allowed us to take over the operational contracts while fully protecting the pension funds of all the working drivers. That night, federal agents arrested Julian at a downtown lounge after audit reports revealed he had been embezzling company funds to finance Chloe's lavish lifestyle. Watching the news coverage from my living room, I felt relief knowing that the working-class drivers and staff were completely protected from his greed. A month later, I sat in my new executive office overlooking the bustling city harbor. The blue shipping containers down below were now running smoothly under our new management team. Harrison retired permanently overseas, Julian faced serious criminal charges, and the loyal employees kept their jobs and retirements intact. I put on my headset, pulled up the master tracking board, and got right back to doing what I do best: